What's up everyone, I'm CallumOnToast, and in today's video I'm going to be showcasing some insane battles in the Open Great League featuring a triple massive whale theme team with Sir Titan in the lead, and shout out to Homesize Henry for reminding me that this Pokemon exists, Wailord as the Say Swap, and Shadow Kyogre as the closer. Now I had a really rough time with this team initially. There are plenty of Pokemon that are near impossible to win against, and often several of them are on the same team together. I definitely cut out more losses than wins for this video, mostly just straight hard counter stuff that you can't really learn anything from, but there's still plenty of crazy games in this video. So with that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. What animal related theme teams would you like to see me run in the future? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so heading into the first battle, Sir Titan into Abomasnow. So this is a pretty good lead matchup for us, especially since we have two water types in the back that want nothing to do with Abomasnow. I'm going to no-shield the first charge move here. They do go for the Energy Ball, but I am resisting the Powder Snow damage, so they're not going to be able to farm me down. We go for an Avalanche, and it does huge damage, and we can farm down the Abomasnow, but they've got a Lantern in the back. Now this, certainly not ideal. Sir Titan way too low to win this matchup, so we go for an Avalanche, and of course Avalanche is resisted. It does do slightly more damage than a Body Slam even when it is resisted though, which is why I go for it, and we're only making it to one charge move. We're now of course going to have to shield here with our Wailord. I'm now going to overfarm. We're not going to make it to a Hyper Beam before the opponent makes it to the next charge move, but we end up grabbing a shield with a Surf, and I make it to a second Surf. Now of course this is resisted damage, but it will get the Lantern into the red health range, and the opponent doesn't commit to the farm down either, so that's huge for me. Surf will be taking out the Wailord, and now we can come in with the Shadow Kyogre. They will certainly make it to a Thunderbolt before we get the full farm down, so I'm gonna have to use my final shield and hope that Kyogre can beat whatever is in the back, and they come in with a Talonflame, so I'm just gonna count to 5, swap, make the catch onto my Sir Titan. Doesn't matter what they throw here, they actually full sent a Brave Bird, which is fine with me. We can come in with the Kyogre, get the Waterfall farm down, taking out both the Talonflame and the Lantern, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into next game we see Sir Titan into a Quagsire. So I'm going to swap here, catching a potential Stone Edge onto my Wailord. The opponent does bait with a Mud Bomb, which is unfortunate, as they can now fire off a second Mud Bomb straight away. We've seen already we do live it reasonably comfortably, so I'm just going to stay in with the Wailord, going straight for a Surf. Surf probably not going to grab a shield here. It's not going to do that much damage, but they will have to throw a charge move to get rid of us. So at this point, just going to let the Wailord go down. Mud Bomb will be taking us out. But this is fine. We can come in with the Shadow Kyogre. I should be able to get the Waterfall farm down before they make it to the next Mud Bomb, and the opponent's going to have a Trevenant in the back. So of course, this is not ideal, but I'm expecting the opponent to no-shield this Surf, and Surf is still going to do big damage up against the Trevenant despite being resisted. We're now going to come in with the Sir Titan. They make a very nice catch, catching a Body Slam onto the Charizard, but I'm hoping the opponent is just going to no-shield the next charge move here. I'm also going to no-shield as they just go for a Dragon Claw. Absolutely fine with me. I realized if they went for the Blast Burn, then I could just come in with the Kyogre and get the farm down, but since they no-shield the Avalanche, we can just Ice Shard, farm down the Trevenant, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into next game we see Bastiodon in the lead, so obviously not great for me. They're then going to come in with a Shadow Victory Belt, and yeah, I mean, this just sucks really. We're going to go for the Surf. Surf is resisted damage. They're going to be able to fully Magical Leaf, farm me down there. And it's basically game over. It doesn't even matter what the third Pokemon is. If it's a Wigglytuff, if it's Annihilate, Trevenant, doesn't matter. Kyogre is not going to be able to solo the team. So Leaf Blade will be coming through. We do at least get the Ice Shard farm down. Unfortunately, the switch clock is not quite up yet, so I'm just going to go for the Avalanche here. Of course, only making it to one charge move. Avalanche is resisted. We can come in with the Shadow Kyogre, and there is the Wigglytuff. Literally nothing we can do up against this team. They're able to charm, farm me down, and unfortunately we do lose that game. I would say GG's to the opponent, but that was not a GG's. But into the next battle, gonna see Shadow Dragonite, so amazing lead matchup for me. But then they Say Swap into Lantern, and suddenly things go bad real fast. We're going for a Body Slam there. I did mention, obviously, Avalanche gonna do more damage, but I wanted to just throw straight away there because they were one turn behind since they did swap out. And this time I will go for the Avalanche, as like I said, it does more damage. Avalanche will go through, it does connect, and now we're gonna swap, hoping to catch a Surf here. And is this a Surf? It is the Surf, so that's great for us. And I'm not sure they will make it to a Thunderbolt either. They're going to throw straight away. This should just be another Surf here. So Surf is not going to do much damage, and we can get the Water Gun farm down, which is very nice. They then come in with a Registeel, which is fine with me. We're just going straight for the Surf here. Surf, of course, not going to do that much damage. Registeel is very bulky, but I make it to a second Surf already, and this is huge for me. Surf number 2 gets the Registeel very low, and they actually give up switch advantage, swapping into Shadow Dragonite. Absolutely fine with me. We can now go for a Body Slam, throwing just before they make it to the Dragon Claw. That's going to grab that shield from the opponent, and at this point I think I put them into range where we can just Waterfall farm them down with the Shadow Kyogre before they make it to the next charge move. And it doesn't matter how much energy the Registeel has, they're not making it to 2 moves here. They're going to go straight for a Focus Blast. It does cost less energy, but they can't debuff my attack, and I'm able to Waterfall, farm down the Reggie, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into next game, we see Medicham in the lead. So going to say swap into Wailord. We're met with a Serperior instantly. So this really not ideal. I'm just going to no shield the first move here. No point shielding. They go for a Frenzy Plant. Fully one-shot in the Wailord. I was never going to flip that unless the opponent baited. So really no point in shielding there. We're now going to come in with the Titan. I'm just going to no shield this first charge move coming from the Serperior. And once again, they full send the Frenzy Plant. I'm going to overfarm as much as I possibly can, farming to a Body Slam and an Avalanche. So if the opponent no shields here, we can then just fire off an Avalanche straight away into the Medicham coming back in, and if the opponent no shields, it's going to do about 50% of their health, which is very nice. We're now going to come in with the Shadow Kyogre. I'm going to shield this up here, and the opponent is running Power Up Punch, which is really unfortunate, which means I have to actually go for a Surf here. I feel like the opponent probably has something weak to the Kyogre in the back, and they have something incredibly weak to us, yet we get Rock Throw farmed down by a Macargo up against Kyogre. Are you kidding me? Kyogre, that is embarrassing, man. But GG's to that opponent there. Very funny game. Into the next battle, we're going to see Vigoroth in the lead. So we are going to come in with our Wailord, of course. Going to be taking super effective damage from the counters on our Titan. They go for Body Slam, then they swap into our Palmer and things aren't looking too good for us here. We're going to go straight for the Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam is going to be shielded, and now the opponent can go for a huge resisted Powder Snow farm down. We do at least make it to a Surf, but Surf is resisted damage. It's some nice chip damage, but it's not going to help us too much here. We're now going to come in with Titan. I'm going to shield the first move. Very unlikely that they bait there, so I figured I might as well shield that because otherwise they can just start going straight Weather Ball. But now the opponent goes for an Energy Ball. We are going to overfarm in this matchup. We tried to make a catch there, but actually this is just going to be a Weather Ball. We will live this. Not comfortably, but we do get that farm down there. I also waited just to make sure the opponent didn't try and snipe with a counter from the Vigoroth, which they don't do. We're also able to take them out with the Avalanche there, and the opponent has a Whiscash in the back now. I'm going to be completely honest, I did these battles at like 2 AM and you're going to see an absolutely massive mistake here. I thought the opponent had 2 shields remaining, so I'm not throwing a charge move here. You're going to see they go for another Mud Bomb, and when I make it to back-to-back Surfs, I'm like, wait, they only had 1 shield. If I just threw both the Surfs there, I could have easily won that game, but I played like an absolute potato, as Jamie Finn would say, and unfortunately we end up losing that game. But GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Annihilate in the lead. Gonna say swap into our Wailord. They go straight for a Night Slash, which is fine with me. Although if the opponent does shield here, they can probably counter farm me all the way down. But the opponent actually gonna throw their energy straight away. So of course, that's probably best case scenario for us. Not a great matchup for us, but we at least grab a shield and they don't overfarm at all there. So we can come in with our Shadow Kyogre. The opponent's gonna swap into a Walrein. So we should live this, but I am a Shadow Kyogre, so it's not going to be comfortable. We're just barely able to make it to a Thunder, and if the opponent does shield this up, I'm going to be swapping back into my Titan. Of course, not ideal that they shield a Thunder. That would have definitely one-shot them. But now we're going to come in. We're going to use a shield here. They did build up to the Earthquake, and they full send it, so that is pretty good that I used my shield there. Otherwise, it's probably game over. But now we're going to go for a Body Slam. I'm really hoping that a second Body Slam will be enough to get the KO. We throw on the CMP tie. Does Body Slam take them out? It does just barely take them out there. They then come in with the Annihilate. I'm going to shield this up, of course. This is my final Pokemon, essentially, but what we're going to do here is commit to the full farm down, but in order to do that, I have to sacrifice my Kyogre. They go for the Night Slash. Can we get the farm down? Yes, we can. And they've got Altaria in the back, pretty much the one thing we needed to see. We go for the Avalanche. It one-shots the Altaria, and even if it didn't, we had a second Avalanche loaded, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into next game, we're going to see a B-drill in the lead. So of course, they're probably just going to throw straight away. So I'm going to shield the first move. They go for an X-Scissor, and now I should be able to outpace them to a Body Slam and an Avalanche because they did throw it on alignment, giving me a full Ice Shard in for free. So we go for the Body Slam there. They've seen Body Slam already. They probably assume they can live the next move. So we go for the Avalanche, but the opponent actually double shield. So maybe didn't work out for me that time around, but that's okay. We're going to come in with the Wailord. I'm going to tank this first move as they go for an X-Scissor, and then they swap into Empoleon, but they're still running Waterfall, although in this matchup it doesn't really make a difference. Both Waterfall and Steel Wing are resisted, but I guess they would get a very nice farm down with the Steel Wing damage there, as it does generate energy slightly faster. But either way, able to land 2 Surfs, get the Empoleon into range where we can shield once with the Shadow Kyogre and farm them down with 2 Waterfalls. I think if I came in with Sir Titan, they probably would make it to 2 more moves there. So we shield up the Drill Peck and we can get the Waterfall farm down. And let's see, the opponent's going to come in with a Galarian Stunfisk, so we go straight for the Surf, hopefully with the damage from the Waterfall. Surf is going to be able to take out the Stunfisk, and now I can just Waterfall, farm down the B-Drill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into next game, we see Sir Titan into a Shadow Bastiodon. So going to say swap into my Wailord here, and the opponent is choosing to stay in initially. And luckily for me, it's not going to be a Shadow Victory Bell. So going to go for the Surf here. Surf, of course, not going to do much damage. I feel like I have to flip switch advantage here. So I'm definitely going to shield the first move. They go for the Grass Knot. We are now going to overfarm just slightly, and I'm realizing I'm going to have to double shield to take this matchup here, because they will make it to another Grass Knot before we can get the full Water Gun farm down. So I am going to double shield. I feel like I need switch advantage, and then I realize I'm not even going to be able to farm them down. Wailord can't even win the 0-2 shield scenario, or sorry, the 2-0 shield scenario up against Cresselia. That is embarrassing, but we do bank a Surf. So what I'm going to do here is go for an Avalanche. Of course, doesn't do much damage, but at least it is a Shadow Bastiodon, so we get them into the yellow health range, and we have a Surf bank. So hopefully if they don't swap out, we can just go straight for the Surf here. It is a CMP type as well, so they don't overfarm at all. They go straight for the Stone Edge, but a Shadow Bastiodon will be able to take out our Wailord there. We come in with the Shadow Kyogre. I need the full farm down, but I don't get there in time. And honestly, Shadow on Shadow, Stone Edge will be enough to take out the Shadow Kyogre. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. Honestly, I don't think I could have done much, even if I did just fully sacrifice the Wailord there, come back in with a Sir Titan, but of course, I don't know what their third Pokemon was, so maybe Shadow Kyogre could have swept, but it's pretty unlikely. But either way, into the next battle, we see a Galvantula in the lead. They go straight for the lunge there, which once again allows me to get a full Ice Shard in for free, allowing me to make it to a Body Slam and then an Avalanche. An Avalanche, even debuffed, gets the KO. They then come in with a Lola Marowak. We're going to swap straight away into our Wailord since we do have 2 water types in the back. I'm going to no-shield this first move here. Play rough, not going to do too much damage. It definitely won't put us into range where they can bubble farm us down. And this Hyper Beam is going to hit incredibly hard here. Hyper Beam coming through. Is no-shielded by the opponent, and the opponent is going to overfarm here, which allows me to make it to a Surf up against the Azu. Perfectly fine with me, grabbing that final shield from the opponent, and they throw their energy straight away. So of course, we're going to no-shield. Ice Beam does get the KO. We can come in with the Shadow Kyogre, and they're probably going to make it to one final charge move, but we don't care. We're just going to play it safe, use our final shield as they go for a play rough, and now they come back in with the Alola Marowak. We can go straight for a Surf. Surf does huge damage, one more Waterfall, gets the farm down, and we can farm down the Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game, we see Sir Titan into a Talonflame. So obviously not great for us. I'm going to go for one Ice Shard, then swap into my Wailord, and the opponent responds with a Serperior. So once again, this is not a great position to be in. I'm just going to no-shield. My only way of flipping this matchup is if the opponent baits with an Aerial Ace, and now able to make it to a Hyper Beam. Now, I don't even know if this would get the KO. Hyper Beam gets shielded though. Of course, we could be running Blizzard, which I think is good for the Ultra League, but for the Great League, there are so many water types that we kind of just need something neutral to hit up against those waters, which Hyper Beam obviously does. Although I think it would be so much better if Wailord learnt Body Slam, but unfortunately, it's only the Whelmo that learns Body Slam, at least in Pokemon Go. So yeah, we're going to overfarm here, going for a Body Slam, and once again, we do have an Avalanche loaded, but I think I'm just going to swap straight away into the Shadow Kyogre. They come back in with the Talonflame. I'm definitely just going to shield this up, as the opponent goes for the Flame Charge, and they've got a Whiscash in the back. So last time, I royally screwed the battle up against a Whiscash in the endgame with my Shadow Kyogre. This time, we do go for the Surf, and we actually throw the Charge move, which is great for us. The opponent goes straight for a Mud Bomb. They're actually not going to be are to fully farm me down, meaning they have to throw their energy straight away, which is fine with me. Mob Bomb will get the KO. We're going to come in with Sir Titan, and unfortunately a Body Slam will not be enough damage to get the KO there. We can go for the Avalanche, taking out the Whiskash, but they're able to incinerate, farm me down with the Talonflame, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to up over there. Into next game, we see Nidoqueen in the lead. So, of course, my entire team does pretty well here. But, of course, these Poison Jabs and the Poison Fang is going to add up over time. So, we're going to go for a Body Slam baiting here. Of course, Avalanche would get the KO. But Body Slam is no shielded. And now I just swap into my Wailord. I realize I kind of have to swap out anyways at some point, just in case the opponent has something like a Trevenant in the back. Now, here we go for the Surf. And Surf, we kind of needed that damage to land anyway. So, I'm happy that they no shield. The opponent is going to go for a Seed Bomb. They are 2 Shadow Claws away from the next charge move, and I'm 1 Ice Shard away from a Body Slam. So of course, not going to make it to the Avalanche. I'm just going to throw the Body Slam. This is double resisted. The opponent is actually going to no shield that, but that's okay. We're going to save both shields for my Shadow Kyogre. Hopefully they're not running double grass in the back. We come in, we get the Waterfall farm down, and the opponent has a Talonflame in the back once again. So this is going to be game over. The opponent throws a charge move. Of course, I've got both shields. I'm going to start using them. They go for the Flame Charge. We're able to Waterfall, farm down the entire team there, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into the next game, we see a Shadow Abomasnow. So obviously we've seen Abomasnow in the lead already, but Shadow Abomasnow is going to hit a lot harder with the Energy Ball. So I'm actually going to respect the damage here as they go and full send the Energy Ball. They then swap into Azumarill. So I'm going to chip with a Body Slam, and then I'm probably going to bank another charge move here on my Sir Titan and then swap into my Wailord. But because we give them such a significant energy advantage, I think they're going to make it to back-to-back play roughs. Actually, never mind. They're running Hydro Pump and Ice Beam, it would seem. So I will actually make it to a Hyper Beam here. And of course, from this range, Hyper Beam should be enough damage to get the KO, so the opponent actually respects the damage. At this point, I'm just going to no shield. The opponent going to go for an Ice Beam, which is actually worse for me because this will now allow them to go for a full bubble farm down. I'm only making it to a Surf, and of course, Surf is resisted damage. It still grabs a shield anyways, though. So of course, we'll definitely take that. We're now going to come in with the Shadow Kyogre. I'm hoping I can go for a full Waterfall farm down after shielding once. Hydro Pump is going to do big damage, but they go for the Ice Beam there, and then they don't make it to another charge move. They come in with the Lantern. We're going to overfarm, and the opponent makes a great catch there. We've not thrown Thunder yet in this video, and unfortunately, the one time we throw it, it gets caught onto a Pokemon that resists Thunder. That is such a shame. And now the opponent can go for a Weather Ball. We do get the Snipe there, but I think this is game over. We're going to go for the Avalanche. Avalanche, not going to do much damage. The opponent can overfarm perfectly, throwing just before we make it to the next Body Slam. Surf will get the KO. And now here, we are just barely not able to make it to another Surf. The opponent played that perfectly. Surf, number 2, takes out the Kyogre. And unfortunately, we do lose that game. But GG's to that opponent. Into the next battle, we're going to see Umbreon in the lead. So we are going to go and no-shield the first charge move. Of course, Foul Play, Dark Pulse, either way, not going to do too much damage. I'm then going to go for an Avalanche, and this should get the Umbreon possibly into the yellow health range, and it does get them there. So we're now going to swap into our Wailord. Once again, we do have to play this as an ABB style team, so potentially baiting out any Pokemon that are going to be difficult for my backline to beat, like a Galvantula, for example. So we're going to go for the Surf. Surf is going to grab a shield, and the opponent just throws their energy straight away. They could have just committed to a full Volt Switch farm down, which would have put me in a really tricky position, but now we can come in with the Sir Titan, and we do have a slight energy advantage here. So we're going to go for 3 Ice Shards, and then throw the Avalanche. I don't think Body Slam would get the KO. Avalanche certainly would take them out. So now we're going to shield here as the opponent goes for a lunge once again. Once again, we can overfarm, and the opponent is going to make a very nice catch though, catching the Avalanche onto the Umbreon, and we were debuffed as well. So we're going to come in with the Shadow Kyogre. I could let this go through, but I'm actually going to shield this up, and we should be just 1 away from a Surf. So if the opponent comes back in with the Galvantula, we will just barely outpace them by 1 turn to the charge move. Of course, I have to throw this straight away. Surf will be coming through, taking out the Galvantula, and once again, they've got a Talonflame in the back. So honestly, I felt like my win conditions in most of these battles are just hope there's a Talonflame in the back, and Shadow Kyogre can do its thing as we go for the Surf on the CMP tie, taking out the Talonflame, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into next game we see Sir Titan into a Shadow Gramble. So obviously not ideal for us. Shadow Gramble in all of these matchups is just going to be able to charm farm us down, probably in the 2 shield scenario. So we go for a bait with the body slam there. We then swap into Wailord, probably going to be a crunch, and it might debuff my defense here. Crunch is actually not going to get a debuff, but then they come in with a Jellicent. So of course, Jellicent going to completely hard wall us. Even if I was running Blizzard, everything would be resisted, but Hyper Beam is double resisted, so not great, but they do overfarm, allowing me to make it to a second Surf, and Surf will get them into the yellow health range. So at this point, it is looking slightly better for us. The opponent goes for the Shadow Ball. That will be taking us out there, but they don't overfarm too much. I think they've only overfarmed by 2 hexes, so we're going to come in with the Shadow Kyogre. If the opponent baits here, this is going to be very tricky, but the opponent full sends the Shadow Ball, and that will allow me to go for a full Waterfall farm down, coming out with a ton of loaded energy. I don't want to get too low, so I actually swap into my Sir Titan here, and the opponent's got a Licky Tongue in the back. I think I needed to commit to the Avalanche there. Body Slam just not going to do much damage whatsoever. We can come back in with the Shadow Kyogre. We make it to back-to-back Surfs, but realistically, Surf is nowhere near going to be enough damage to get the KO from this range, but we're going to throw it anyways on the TMP tie, and then we see that even if we went for Avalanche, I don't think we would have won this game anyways, but the opponent can take us out with a Body Slam, and unfortunately, we do lose that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into next game we see Shadow Gligar in the lead, and this is great for us. Honestly, I didn't see that many Gligar with this team, which is quite strange, but we saw a lot of Talonflame, so I can't complain. We're now going to go for an Avalanche, and Avalanche, of course, resisted, but once again, going to do slightly more damage than the Body Slam. We're now going to come in with the Wailord, and this time I think if they go for a play rough here, they will actually outpace me to the next charge move, which isn't going to be ideal, because I don't really want to use a shield here, but I'm going to have to, really. So we go and shield the play rough. We're now going to overfarm. We can't overfarm too much. We do actually go slightly over 100 energy, which might be a mistake, but the opponent is going to shield that up, which isn't ideal. Honestly, it doesn't matter too much. We don't really need switch advantage, but what we do need is a, well, at least a shield for our Shadow Kyogre. So at this point, I'm just going to let this move go through. Play rough will be taking us out. Hopefully, we can come in with the Kyogre and get a full Waterfall farm down. It will be very close, but it depends when they threw their energy, and we are just barely able to get the farm down there. They then come back in with the Shadow Gligar, so I'm definitely just going for that Surf straight away. Surf is going to grab that final shield from the opponent, so at this point I'm definitely going to shield as well. The opponent going to go for a dig there, very unnecessary, and then they swap into a Registeel. So at this point I'm going to bank a ton of energy, then swap into my Sir Titan, hoping they do full send a Focus Blast, and Focus Blast does get the KO. If they went for a Zap Cannon there, honestly, they might have been able to farm me down, and that wouldn't have been ideal. But either way, we can now go for back-to-back Surfs. The first one does big damage, the second Surf will certainly be enough damage to get the KO. Remember, the Shadow Gligar did full send a dig, so they're definitely not making it to a second charge move. I'm able to Waterfall, farm them down, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into the next game we see a Shadow Dragonair in the lead. They're going to say swap into Haunter, which is very spicy, and honestly I don't have the best response, so I'm just going to tank this move. I was hoping it would be an Ice Punch, but it turns out it's a Shadow Punch, so I have to just let that go through. And then at this point I'm also just going to let this move go through as well, as they go for a second Shadow Punch, which we do live reasonably comfortably. But now they can just come in with the Shadow Dragonair. I will try and commit to a Hyper Beam, but it's very clear I'm not quite getting there in time. Hopefully the opponent doesn't know the Water Gun counts here, but they end up no shielding anyways, and Surf doesn't do an awful lot of damage. But we're going to come back in with this Titan. I'm not sure if the switch clock is up yet, and it turns out it was. So the opponent does swap, they catch a Body Slam onto a Azumarill, but now we can come in with the Shadow Kyogre, and these Waterfalls are actually chunking up against a Azumarill. These are resisted Waterfalls up against Azu of all Pokemon. We are now going to shield up the play rough here. I'm not certain a Surf would get the KO. It probably won't, so I'm just going to full send the Thunder. I think we've only thrown it once so far in this video. At the second time, it gets shielded anyway, so did I really need Thunder? Did I need to double move my Shadow Kyogre? Probably not, but that's okay. We're now going to overfarm here, throwing just before they make it to the next charge move, and the opponent makes a catch. And this is actually fine with me because the opponent no shields. We can then snipe with the Sir Titan, and the opponent does make it to one final charge move, but that's absolutely okay. Play rough, gets the KO, and once again, Shadow Kyogre can Waterfall, farm down the Azu, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to opponent there. Into the next game we see a Whiscash in the lead. So this is fine with me, but I think eventually I will swap, just because of course Scald, well, I tried to swap there, but the opponent's actually just going to go straight for a Mud Bomb. So typically Whiscash is just going to go straight for Scald there, but that's okay. We can go for an Avalanche and we grab a Shield. So now I will be swapping into the Wailord, catching the next Mud Bomb here as the opponent goes for the Mud Bomb straight away. They're then going to come in with a Mantine. So we're going to no shield here. I'm hoping that we can still make it to a Hyper Beam before the opponent gets a full Wing Attack farm down, but it's going to be very, very close, and we just faint as we get there. That is so painful. We're now going to wait out the switch clock, not for too long there, as the opponent did take a while to swap out. We're going to no-shield this. I should live this. They go for the Aerial Ace, and we can full send the Avalanche at this point. Avalanche is going to come through and be shielded by the opponent. So we're, of course, going to come in with the Shadow Kyogre. I'm definitely going to shield this. I might even double shield and go for a full farm down. They actually go for Ice Beam, which is really weird. I've literally no idea why they went for that. But either way, we're going to go for a second shield as they go for the Aerial Ace. We're going to get the full Waterfall farm down, and the opponent comes back in with the Whiscash. We're going to overfarm as much as we physically can, going for the Surf. Surf will be taking out the Whiscash, and they've got Annihilate in the back, so we're going straight for the Thunder. We need this to get the KO. Thunder doesn't quite take them out there. We swap there, and unfortunately, the opponent can just counter, farm me down before either a Waterfall or an Ice Shard registers, and they're able to take that game. So GG's to the opponent there. Into next game, we see another Shadow Gligar in the lead. This time, they're going to stay in for ages, but then swap into Lantern. So, of course, this isn't great for us. I do have two Pokemon in the back that are still going to be pretty fine up against that Gligar, but we've also got a Lantern, which is not ideal. We're going for Body Slam, number 2, and at this point, I realized that even another Body Slam wouldn't quite get the KO, but maybe I should have just thrown my Charge Move there on the CMP tie. But either way, we're going to go for an Avalanche. I realized that they were one away from their next Surf. They're going to use their Shield there. They're going to overfarm, and at this point, I think I kind of just have to shield this. I need to get rid of the Lantern, but I mean, obviously it depends what they've got in the back. We might have a double electric team, which my team obviously is going to very much struggle against, but let's see. They're going to come in with a Gallade, so of course we are just barely going to outpace them to the Body Slam. I kind of need them to no shield this, but they do shield, and at this point we're going to come in with the Wailord. I should live one Leaf Blade, but they are easily outpacing me before I make it to a second Surf, or sorry, even a first Surf there, and the opponent can fire off Leaf Blade number 2. We're going to have to come in with the Shadow Kyogre, and hopefully the opponent does just swap out straight away here, but the opponent is going to stay in with the Gallade, and they can fire for Leaf Blade, and this is a Shadow Kyogre. Leaf Blade easily one-shots us, and we're not even able to get the farm down there as the opponent swaps back into the Gligar, going for the Aerial Ace, taking out the Titan, and unfortunately we do lose that game. But GG's to the opponent there into possibly the final battle of this video. We're going to see a Gramble in the lead. So once again, not ideal. We're going to build up to the Avalanche, then go for a Body Slam bait, and then I will be swapping into my Wailord. So Body Slam grabs a shield as it typically does up against a Charm Granbull, and the opponent's actually going to come in with a Unnovan Stunfisk. Now this isn't too bad for us. We do have a significant energy advantage, so we land the Surf as well, which is very nice. I'm thinking I should be able to Water Gun farm them down. They go for the Discharge there, and then I realize actually I don't think it's certain that I would get that farm down, so we end up chickening out, going for a Surf there, and you can see if we didn't throw the move, we could have potentially got that farm down, but it's okay. Discharge will be taking us out. We are now going to come in with the Shadow Kyogre, I believe, get the Waterfall farm down. If they come back in with the Granbull, I'm just going to shield this up, go for a full Waterfall farm down. The opponent actually goes for a close combat there, giving us less farm, which seems like a smart play, but we will just still barely make it to a Thunder, and finally, we will land a Thunder. Thunder takes out the Skarmory, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, please make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. And if you want to take your support even further, you can now become a channel member with perks including early access to new videos, shoutouts at the end of each video, custom loyalty badges, and custom emojis to use in the comments. I want to say a massive thank you to everyone that has already become a channel member. Your support is greatly appreciated, and with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.